Right, first step is you make yourself some space at the top end. Right, those of you who've done this before or know the VW Audi Seat instructions on these, they say not to remove the filter and the bottle. All you need to really remove is the neck, is the washer neck. And even on auto, it comes in big capital letters, do not remove fuel filter. Right, well, if like me, you like space and to be able to see what you're doing, because it takes about, so all there is to get it off is 2 clip-on pipes there for the fuel filter this is, and those 2 there have clips on them, you take them off. The coolant one is that one, and that one you take them out. So it's about a minute or 2 minutes extra work. In that minute or 2 minutes, for the rest of the job, you're saving yourself, like every time that you try and get the fuel filter over there, it keeps flopping down, you've got the coolant reservoir there, it keeps flopping down. I just take them off. I like having a bit of room. Anyway, so that's why I've taken them out altogether. And look, nice, easy access. Once the engine mounts out, everything's a lot easier. No shit flopping around your way. So the next step would be taking off the alternator belt or the auxiliary belt. There is a special tool for this apparently. I've never used it. It is a 16mm spanner will do it. You pull it back, there's a pin you can put in the little hole there. I can't hold the phone and show you, but trust me, when you pull it back, if I get the phone in the right position, there's a little pin. So let me see if I can do this for you. You can see the hole, and then let me see if I can show you that hole down there. So that hole meets that hole, you slide a pin in and you lock it. That's it, easy peasy that bit. Onwards. Don't have the right size pin? Find yourself a sturdy rivet, an Allen key, a bolt, whatever you like. It's fine. It's under a lot of tension, so it needs to be something strong. When you remove it, you can untension it if you want, but I'll just do it like that. Right, wheel off. It's been that a while. You don't have to take the wheel off. I see people do it without taking the wheel off and struggle. Why? It's 5 bolts. Just take them off. More importantly, then wheel arch liner out. What I like to do on these wheel arch liners, they've always got a bit of crud in all the T25s. If you give them just a tiny bit of brake cleaner or some sort of cleaner on each head of each bolt. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here. Sorry, it's not the greatest. I'll get some light in there. And move the wing cover. If you can see the bolts, that one has already fallen out. Where have we got one there? One up there. Any more, there's one. Got him. There's probably some buried under this dirt up here, I'm not sure. Right, yeah, give me a little spray, look, that one's already dried out. And then you get a pick and clean them out, because people struggle round them off all sorts. Firstly, using the wrong size bits. These are T25s, not 20s or 27s. And secondly, they don't clear them out. All you got to do, give each one a few little taps just to clear the shit out of them. If that doesn't work, just get a pick in there, run it around, or get a T. You can use a 20 gently, or use a 15 and just spin it around and just clean out as much crap as you can. Then the bolts are fine, they're perfectly serviceable. You can carry on using them. There we go, right, I'll get on with this. Just want to show you something real quick. That wheel arch liner, which I've got out there, when you take these out, a bit of it basically sits butted up against this bit here. What you need to do is get something in, just pull the back down, and you can feed it backwards and pull it away from the lip of the wing. As you can see, someone on this one has done its cambelt previously in its life, and it's got a little notch there in the wing because they've tried to lever it out. It's just fucking annoying. It's not, again, it's not brain surgery or rocket science. You know, you pull that bit down, it'll allow the whole lot to move very slightly backwards and it'll just drop out. You have to sort that out, that'll annoy me forever. Right, next, we'll pop this cover off. Obviously the belt is detensioned, the alternator belt, I'll take that off. Now what I could do is just literally pop that cover off, get to the quick bolt and turn the engine. Okay, so the cover's off, you've got the 4 pulley bolts and the main crank bolt. These pulley bolts, they are not Allen keys and they are not Torxes. I think the name is hex bolts. I've seen these with different stuff on them, but on this particular one, these are hex spots. I've seen them with Allen keys on them and stuff like that. It's called a ribe socket, and I found where I'd put them. So bottom pulley's out. We can now see the crank sprocket or pulley, whatever you want to call it, and the covers. So what we kind of want to do is get the tension around the way. I've taken off the alternating belt tension, or auxiliary belt tensioner, sorry. And I was just taking off the centre timing cover. It's just 10mm hidden right under the engine mount, and a couple of 10mm. Moved the crank around a couple of times so I can move these freely. Got them locked up with the pins there, that pin and that pin. Use the special tool for locking the crankshaft up. Okay, at this point I obviously removed the belt. I couldn't film that because I only have the two hands, like hopefully most of you. But surely it's obvious. Right, so getting the engine mount off to get this cam belt out, which obviously you see I've just done. So I left it, you leave it pinned up. You have the top part of the engine mount, so you've got a 13 at the back, two 16s and two 18s, nice and easy. Then you've got three 16s holding this section in. Ideally you'd want to get this out, but they're so tight on space, you've got to move aircon pipes and check the engine right on, so it's okay, it'll wedge itself out of the way. You can get the belt out, get the tensioner out. And then, as you'll see, I've taken the stud for the tensioner out. Guess what? At this point, I put the new belt back in. Again, I still have the same amount of hands, so couldn't film it at the time. In these up, you use the pointer system. So you've got a pointer, which I'm going to try and get my finger into view if I can. Where is my finger? There. That little silver guy there that looks like a pointy thing is your pointer. That slot there that looks like a slot is your alignment slot. That should be lined up with that, you know, and it moves as it's per stroke, because there's a bit of tension on it, but within, you know, close to that, not there. Right, everything's back on just so I can do a first start and see. Woo! She runs! Yay! Right, so we have a good running vehicle. Time, I guess, well, should I road test it or should I run it up for a while and then set the torsional values? Adjust the torsional value, or camshaft timing, or camshaft adjustment, whatever you might call it. And I'll show you what's involved in that and for optimal running. This is why we run it up to temperature. It's not up to temperature yet, it's at 78 degrees, but the torsional value is actually getting slightly worse, so as things warm up. So once we're at proper temperature, like I like to, most people say 80 degrees, that's fine, but I like to wait till the fan kicks in and go from there. Target value at about 98 degrees, it's cooling down at the moment. And we were tethering between 4.4 and 3, or minus 4.4 and 3.9 kilowatts. So that gets a big fat from me. So let's sort it out. You can see what I mean by variable timing. So you have a centre bolt that holds the camshaft to a sprocket pulley behind these outer pulleys. These outer pulleys, kind of like vernier pulleys on petrols, where you can adjust them. They've got some adjustment in them. You can see these 13mm here. They've got a groove in them for slight adjustment. So what it means is we can loosen them off, turn the cam, lock them back up, and run it up again. Same for the exhaust side. The torsional value is reading just the inlet side. What we want to do is match the rear thereabouts to the slot position on that, and then watch our fuel litres per hour to try and balance them out as well as we can. Right, so you slacken off your inlet cam pulley 13s. You should use a tool to stop the pulley moving, but a quick nip just gets them going. Don't take them out, just slacken them off. And then you also slacken your exhaust ones. I've seen people replacing these and Loctiting and stuff. You don't need to do any of that. They're not stretch bolts. You don't need to replace them when you undo them. They're part of the normal job of when you do the cam belt anyway. You undo them, you don't replace them. So yeah, you can just reuse them. Otherwise this would be a bit of a pointless exercise. So they're nice and loose. Just check that they're loose, make sure they're not out.
and then do the same on the exhaust. The reason I use the 13 spanner sometimes is you'll always get one that's hiding just behind the brake reservoir. It's hardish to get a socket in there, just crack it with a spanner. Right, there you go, all 6 loose. You know, turn freely by hand, which means the pulleys will move freely. Now on these there is 3 little windows. You've got window there, and a window with teeth on it there, same on the other one. You can use that as a more accurate guide than what I'm about to do, but because the engine is stopped in the position it's stopped in, I'm not too bothered and I don't want to be turning the engine over. So what I'm going to do is just look at the slots the bolts are in and try and move them more to the middle. So we get our 18mm spanner, this little bad boy. So remember, the reason this works is that them pulleys are slack. They fit, so it's hard to show you and explain 100%. There's just basically another kind of like a pulley, like a sprocket behind there that this pulley bolts to. It doesn't bolt directly to the camshaft. Well, that part behind, and never mind anyway. Right, get your 18, you're keeping an eye on your bolt hole, and you turn your cam forward to round about the middle of the slotted hole, which I reckon is about there. Then you're going to nip these up again in a second with your ratchet or spanner or whatever way you want to do it, and then you do the same with the rear. Just try and match it to the front. Quick way of getting this pipe out of your way, just tuck it behind the filler cap for your coolant, for your screen washer. There we go. Oh, I'm off. Harder than it looks, than you might think doing it holding a camera. Again, pull it slightly forward, try and aim for the middle-ish of the holes. If we've gone too far, obviously we'll get a positive number on our torsional value. If not gone far enough, we'll still be negative. We're trying to get as close as we can to 0. This isn't a big job by any means, it's fairly quick. It's really good for the car, makes it run miles better, both idles better, runs smoother, and like I say, it does have a bearing on power and power delivery. So just make sure they're all okay, give them a little nip, go around like this to pull it in evenly. I can sometimes sound like a bit of a stickler for the details, but I don't think it's done properly. What's the, you know, you could get your ratchet straight on there and tighten it all right up, or, you know, spend an extra couple of seconds and do it right and not run the risk of it not seating correctly and stripping down the engine when it all goes horribly fucking wrong. Right. Boom. Now, so what I'm going to do is get my torque wrench. These are 25 Newton meters. You do these two. It's the same on all the PD engines. Well, as far as I'm aware, always check it up. But for the last, how long have I been doing this? Over 20 years. I've been fixing cars, and the PD engines have been around for about 20 years, longer even. I've been working on them for 20 years anyway. And every single one I've done has been 25 Newton meters that I can remember. When torquing these up, you're supposed to, let me move that pipe back out of his way, there you go, so you can see properly, use a sprocket locking tool or cam pulley locking tool, which basically is a long bar with 2 little prongs that go like that into these holes, just to help you, you know, you hold the bar and then you can put that on without it trying to turn the whole cam belt. That's my torque wrench, which I haven't set yet. I have that tool. I don't know where it is at the moment, and to be honest, I don't always use, or don't often use it anyway. It's just because all you're doing with this. So, like, there we go. I'm just gently on. I'm going to do the others before I actually torque it. Gently on. Gently on, and then so it doesn't turn anything. A short sharp. You hear that click? That's torqued. It's not a great deal of torque, 25. You can hear that creaking is not the clicking, now it's clicking. There you go. Load up. There we go. 0. What's our coolant temperature? 75, 76. So now I'm going to adjust the rear one, and what I'm trying to do with the rear one is, where's our litres per hour? There you go. litres per hour. We're at 1 at the moment, so we need to bring that down to about 0.6. I've come a tiny bit too far, so I'm at a 0.2 to 0.4, so I'm just going to back it off very slightly and nip it up, and that should be it done. Just to show you how fine the adjustments are, I've moved that about 1 millimetre, and that's jumped up to 3. As you can hear, the engine's not very happy, so we'll move it back a bit more. There we go. Sorry, a couple of interruptions during the job, but all in that took about half an hour, including interruptions and lots of adjustment. So now the torsional value gets a thumbs up from me. As you can see, it's slowly teetering between 0.4 and 0.6. Yeah, so that is how you adjust your torsional value. Not rocket science now. I'm going to carry on. I'm not going to show you changing oil and filter and an air filter and a fuel filter because, you know, it's very basic, straightforward stuff.